The concept of mastery can be broken down into three distinct but complementary approaches, each representing a different phase or path in the journey toward becoming an expert in any field. These paths are often referred to as the Apprentice Path, the Journeyman Path, and the Master Path. Each of these approaches requires a unique mindset and set of skills, though all are interconnected and essential for achieving true mastery. The Apprentice Path is the first stage of the mastery process. This path is primarily about learning through observation and guidance from a mentor or expert. At this stage, the apprentice doesn't yet possess the full knowledge or experience necessary to navigate the field independently. Instead, they focus on absorbing as much information as possible from those who have already achieved a higher level of proficiency. This is a period marked by humility, where the apprentice acknowledges the gaps in their understanding and seeks to fill them by emulating the techniques, strategies, and insights of a master. Imitation plays a significant role during this phase as it allows the learner to build a foundation by repeating proven methods and internalizing essential principles. The key challenge here is to remain patient and open, knowing that true understanding comes through time and practice, not merely passive observation. As the learner progresses to the Journeyman Path, the focus shifts from learning under guidance to applying knowledge independently. At this stage, the individual has acquired enough foundational skills to begin exploring the field on their own, though they are still far from mastery. This path emphasizes hands-on experience and personal experimentation. The journeyman is no longer bound to strict imitation. Instead, they are encouraged to adapt what they've learned to different situations and challenges. Trial and error become powerful learning tools as each failure provides valuable insights that help to refine skills. The journeyman is in a period of growth, constantly learning through doing. They still rely on the wisdom gained during their apprenticeship, but are now testing its boundaries and seeking to personalize their approach. This stage is about honing one's abilities through real-world practice, understanding nuances, and becoming more comfortable with the complexities and unpredictabilities of the craft. The Master Path represents the final stage in the journey toward mastery. By this point, the individual has internalized the foundational principles and practiced extensively. However, true mastery goes beyond the mere application of skills. It involves innovation and creativity. On this path, the master not only performs tasks with excellence, but also pushes the boundaries of the field, developing new techniques, insights, or methodologies that advance the craft as a whole. At this level, the master transcends the rules they initially followed and can even break them in meaningful ways to create something novel. Their expertise allows them to see patterns and connections that others might miss, enabling them to solve problems in ways that are often groundbreaking. Furthermore, the master often assumes a role of leadership, guiding others in their journey. Teaching and mentorship are integral parts of this path as they reinforce the master's knowledge and contribute to the next generation's development. In sharing their wisdom and insights, the master perpetuates the cycle of mastery, ensuring that their field continues to evolve and thrive. The Master Path, therefore, is not a static endpoint, but a dynamic phase of continuous learning, contribution, and legacy building. In the early stages of any journey toward mastery, the process is characterized by the absorption of knowledge from more experienced individuals, typically referred to as mentors or mentors. This is a time when the individual is focused on learning foundational skills and understanding the core principles of the craft or discipline they are pursuing. It is a phase where humility plays a crucial role because the individual must acknowledge their lack of expertise and submit themselves to the guidance of those who have walked the path before them. The learning process at this point is often structured, involving a clear hierarchy in which the learner defers to the expertise of the teacher. The initial task is to gain familiarity with the essential tools, techniques, and methods that will form the bedrock of future growth. At this stage, there is often a strong emphasis on imitation. The apprentice carefully observes the actions and decisions of the mentor, striving to replicate them with precision. By closely following established models and methods, the learner begins to internalize the basic patterns of the craft. This imitation is not simply mindless repetition, rather it is a deliberate process of absorbing the deeper logic and reasoning behind the master's actions. The apprentice learns by doing, but always under the watchful eye of someone more experienced who can provide corrective feedback and guidance. Mistakes are expected and viewed as essential to the learning process, offering opportunities to refine one's approach. The apprentice path is often marked by structured tasks that may seem mundane or repetitive at times. These seemingly simple tasks are, in fact, critical for laying the groundwork for more advanced skills. In the early stages of learning, the individual's understanding is still limited, and as a result, they may not yet grasp the full complexity of the craft. By focusing on mastering basic tasks, they build muscle memory, discipline, and a deeper familiarity with the tools and techniques that will serve as the foundation for more creative and independent work in the future. In addition to technical skills, the apprentice also learns the unspoken rules and culture of the discipline. This includes the values, standards of excellence, and professional ethics that define success in the field. Often, this aspect of learning is not explicitly taught, but is instead absorbed through close proximity to the master and through observation of how they conduct themselves. For instance, an apprentice in a traditional artisan craft may learn not only how to create a product, but also how to approach their work with care, attention to detail, and respect for tradition. Similarly, an apprentice in a modern professional setting might learn about the importance of collaboration, effective communication, and managing client relationships through observing the master's interactions with colleagues and clients. The relationship between the apprentice and the mentor is a key element of this stage. Ideally, the mentor is not only a source of technical knowledge, but also a model of the mindset and attitudes that lead to mastery. The mentor's role is to provide guidance, but also to challenge the apprentice to grow by gradually introducing more complex tasks and higher expectations. There is a balance between instruction and independent effort. The mentor may give direct feedback, but they also encourage the apprentice to solve problems and think critically on their own. Over time, the apprentice learns to anticipate the mentor's critiques and internalizes the standards they are held to, pushing themselves to meet those expectations even before feedback is given. During this period, the apprentice also begins to develop a deeper appreciation for the subtleties of the craft. As their skills improve, they start to notice details they may have overlooked at the beginning of their journey. What once seemed like a simple task may now reveal layers of complexity. For example, a musician in training might initially focus on playing notes accurately, but as they progress, they become more attuned to the nuances of tone, phrasing, and expression that differentiate a competent performance from a masterful one. This growing awareness is a sign that the apprentice is beginning to move beyond basic competence and toward a deeper understanding of the craft. The path of the apprentice requires a great deal of patience and resilience. Progress can sometimes feel slow, and the apprentice may experience frustration as they encounter challenges that seem beyond their current capabilities. However, it is precisely this slow, methodical approach that allows for true mastery to emerge. The apprentice must trust the process and remain committed to their growth, even when the rewards of their efforts are not immediately visible. It is often said that the most important lessons in this stage come not from success, but from failure. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn and adjust, bringing the apprentice one step closer to mastery. Eventually, the apprentice reaches a point where they have internalized the core principles of their craft and are ready to move on to more independent work. At this point, they may still rely on the guidance of their mentor, but they are increasingly able to take on challenges on their own. The foundation they have built during this time will serve them well as they continue on their journey, enabling them to approach their work with confidence and a strong understanding of the essentials. While they are not yet a master, they have taken the first critical steps toward that goal, and their time as an apprentice has provided them with the skills, knowledge, and mindset necessary to continue growing. As one progresses from the role of apprentice, where guidance and structured learning dominate, the individual enters what is often referred to as the journeyman phase. This path marks a significant transition from being primarily a learner under the close supervision of a mentor to becoming a more autonomous practitioner. The Journeyman Path is characterized by the application of skills in real-world contexts and the gradual development of independence in one's craft. While the individual no longer requires constant oversight, they are not yet considered a master and still have much to learn, refine, and experience. During the journeyman phase, the focus shifts from acquiring foundational knowledge through imitation to the process of active, independent practice. The journeyman has accumulated enough understanding and experience to begin working on their own, but this stage is more about refining and expanding upon what they've learned rather than achieving perfection. The primary goal is to deepen proficiency through hands-on experience, trial and error, and problem solving. This stage is crucial because it is where the individual starts to develop their own style, voice, or method of working. While they still rely on the teachings and guidance they received during their apprenticeship, they are now exploring how to apply those lessons in diverse and sometimes unpredictable situations. One of the defining features of the journeyman phase is the opportunity to work on more complex and varied tasks. The apprentice often works on basic, repetitive tasks to build competence, but the journeyman is expected to take on a broader range of challenges. This requires the ability to adapt and respond to new problems that were not necessarily covered during the earlier stages of learning. In this sense, the journeyman must be flexible and willing to experiment with different approaches. Mistakes are still common at this stage, but they are now seen as opportunities for growth. Each failure or misstep is a chance to reflect on one's methods and make adjustments, leading to a deeper understanding of the nuances of the craft. Unlike the apprentice phase, where direct instruction and feedback are frequent, the journeyman receives less constant oversight. They may still turn to mentors for advice or guidance when facing particularly difficult problems, but much of their learning now comes from self-directed practice. This requires a higher degree of self-motivation and discipline. Without the structure of the apprenticeship, the journeyman must take ownership of their own development, setting goals and seeking out opportunities to challenge themselves. This independence is both a responsibility and a privilege, as it allows the individual to begin shaping their own path toward mastery. As the journeyman becomes more proficient, they start to develop a deeper understanding of the subtleties and complexities of their craft. What may have seemed straightforward during the apprenticeship stage now reveals layers of depth. For example, a journeyman carpenter may have learned the basic techniques for constructing furniture during their apprenticeship, but as they gain more experience, they start to understand the finer details of wood grain, how different types of wood respond to various tools, or how environmental factors like humidity can affect the final product. This heightened awareness allows them to make more informed decisions and to start personalizing their work in ways that reflect their growing expertise. In many fields, the journeyman phase also involves collaboration with others who are at a similar level of proficiency. This can be a critical part of the learning process, as working alongside peers provides new perspectives and exposes the individual to different techniques and ideas. These collaborations often occur in environments where the journeyman takes on real-world projects, which might include working for clients, participating in group endeavors, or taking on assignments that require a higher level of responsibility. In these situations, the journeyman is expected to contribute meaningfully, bringing the skills they have honed to bear on practical challenges. This kind of work provides valuable experience and also helps the journeyman build a professional reputation. At this stage, deliberate practice plays an essential role in the journeyman's growth. Unlike repetitive practice, which focuses on reinforcing basic skills, deliberate practice is a targeted effort to improve specific aspects of performance. The journeyman might identify particular weaknesses or areas for improvement, such as refining a specific technique, improving speed or accuracy, or mastering a more complex set of tasks. This type of practice is often mentally demanding, requiring the individual to push beyond their comfort zone and focus intensely on improving their abilities. Feedback, whether from peers, mentors, or self-assessment, is critical during deliberate practice, as it helps the journeyman identify what is working and what needs adjustment. Throughout the journeyman phase, the individual begins to develop their own identity within the field. While the apprentice stage was marked by imitation and the absorption of external knowledge, the journeyman starts to explore personal preferences, techniques, and creative approaches. This is the stage where personal style or unique voice starts to emerge. For example, a journeyman artist may begin experimenting with different mediums, themes, or techniques that reflect their individual vision, moving away from the more rigid structures they learned during their apprenticeship. This exploration is essential for developing a sense of ownership over one's work, which is a crucial step toward becoming a master. Despite the growing independence of the journeyman, mentorship continues to play an important role in this stage. However, the nature of the relationship between the journeyman and the mentor changes. Instead of receiving constant feedback or instruction, the journeyman may seek out the mentor's guidance when faced with particularly difficult challenges or when they feel stuck in their development. The mentor's role becomes more advisory than instructive, offering insights that help the journeyman continue growing. In some cases, the journeyman may also begin mentoring others who are earlier in their journey, which can be a valuable way of consolidating their own knowledge and skills. Ultimately, the journeyman phase is a period of consolidation, exploration, and refinement. It is where the individual takes the knowledge gained during their apprenticeship and applies it in increasingly complex and independent ways. It is a stage of growth marked by both challenges and successes, as the journeyman hones their craft and moves closer to achieving true mastery. While mastery is still on the horizon, the journeyman path is critical for laying the groundwork for the innovations, creativity, and leadership that will define the next stage of their journey. The master path represents the culmination of years of learning, practice, and experience. It is the final stage in the journey toward mastery, where the individual not only possesses a deep understanding of their craft, but also transcends the conventional boundaries that define proficiency. By this stage, the master has moved beyond the need for external validation or constant guidance, having developed an internal compass that allows them to navigate their discipline with both confidence and creativity. However, mastery is not a static destination. It is a dynamic, ongoing process of refinement, innovation, and contribution. A master continues to learn and grow, but their relationship to the craft evolves into one that emphasizes leadership, innovation, and a profound understanding of both the technical and philosophical aspects of their field. One of the defining characteristics of the master is the ability to not only apply the skills and techniques they have learned, but to innovate and create new methods or ideas. At this stage, the individual has such a deep familiarity with the principles of their craft that they are able to bend or even break the established rules in meaningful ways. Masters understand the underlying logic of their field so thoroughly that they can push its boundaries, introducing new approaches that may challenge the traditional ways of doing things. This level of creativity is often what distinguishes a master from someone who is merely highly skilled. The master is not content with simply replicating what has been done before. They seek to evolve their craft, leaving a lasting impact on the field. This process of innovation is not haphazard or reckless. The master has spent years honing their abilities and gaining an intimate understanding of their discipline, which allows them to take calculated risks. These risks are often what lead to breakthroughs, as the master is able to see connections and possibilities that others might overlook. Their extensive experience gives them the confidence to experiment, knowing that even if their innovations are unconventional, they are grounded in a solid foundation of knowledge and practice. In many cases, the master's innovations become new standards or methods within their field, influencing future generations of practitioners. The path of the master is also marked by a heightened sense of intuition. After years of deliberate practice, the master develops an almost instinctual understanding of their craft. Decisions that once required careful consideration now come effortlessly as the master has internalized the principles and techniques they practiced for so long. This intuition allows them to respond to challenges with speed and accuracy, often solving complex problems in ways that may seem effortless to outsiders. However, this ease of execution is the result of countless hours of practice and experience, not some innate talent. The master has put in the time and effort to reach this point, and their intuition is a reflection of their deep, unconscious understanding of the craft. While the master's technical skills are finely tuned, their role in the field often expands beyond individual practice. Masters frequently take on leadership roles, guiding others through mentorship, teaching, or leading projects. This shift toward leadership is a natural progression in the master's journey, as they are in a unique position to pass on their knowledge and wisdom to others. By sharing their experiences and insights, they help shape the next generation of practitioners, ensuring the continued evolution and growth of their discipline. Mentorship becomes a key aspect of the master's path, as they are not only imparting technical knowledge, but also teaching the mindset and approach necessary to achieve mastery. In mentoring others, the master solidifies their own understanding of the craft. Teaching forces them to articulate their knowledge in ways that are accessible to learners, which often leads to a deeper reflection on their own methods and beliefs. This process can reveal new insights, as the master is constantly revisiting the fundamentals of their discipline through the eyes of their students. Additionally, mentoring others is a way for the master to contribute to the broader community, ensuring that their field continues to grow and thrive. In many ways, the master's legacy is defined by the impact they have on the people they mentor, as well as the innovations they introduce. Despite their elevated status, the master does not stop learning. Mastery is not a finite achievement, but an ongoing journey. Even at this stage, the master remains open to new ideas and continues to refine their craft. They may no longer need to learn basic skills or techniques, but they are constantly seeking ways to deepen their understanding and improve their performance. This commitment to lifelong learning is what sets true masters apart from those who simply stop growing once they reach a certain level of proficiency. The master recognizes that there is always more to learn, no matter how experienced they become, and this humility keeps them engaged with their craft. Another important aspect of the master's journey is the ability to see the bigger picture. While an apprentice or journeyman might focus primarily on technical details or immediate problems, the master has the ability to step back and consider the broader context in which they are working. They understand how their work fits into the larger ecosystem of their field and can see connections between seemingly disparate areas of knowledge. This holistic perspective allows the master to approach their craft with a greater sense of purpose, often leading to more thoughtful and impactful contributions. Whether they are solving a technical problem or guiding a team, the master's decisions are informed by a deep understanding of both the details and the larger framework in which they operate. In many cases, the master's work also takes on a philosophical or ethical dimension. Having achieved a high level of proficiency, the master often begins to reflect on the purpose and meaning of their craft. This might involve questions about the impact of their work on society, the environment, or future generations. The master is not only concerned with technical excellence, but also with the legacy they leave behind. This reflection can lead to a more intentional and mindful approach to their work, as they seek to align their actions with their values. For example, a master in the field of architecture might begin to focus on sustainable design, recognizing the importance of creating buildings that are both functional and environmentally responsible. Similarly, a master in the field of education might prioritize inclusivity and accessibility, ensuring that their teaching methods reach as many students as possible. The journey of the master is not without its challenges. While they have achieved a high level of skill and recognition, the master must continue to push themselves to grow. This often involves stepping out of their comfort zone and exploring new areas of their craft, or even branching out into related disciplines. The master understands that complacency is the enemy of growth, and they are willing to take on new challenges to prevent stagnation. This willingness to embrace new experiences is a hallmark of the master's mindset, as they are always looking for ways to expand their horizons and continue evolving. In the end, the master path is about more than just technical expertise. It is about the pursuit of excellence, innovation, and contribution. A master is someone who not only performs their craft at the highest level, but also pushes the boundaries of what is possible, inspires others, and leaves a lasting legacy. While the journey toward mastery may take years or even decades, those who walk this path find fulfillment not in reaching a final destination, but in the continuous process of growth, learning, and making a meaningful impact on their field and the world around them. Learning through imitation is one of the most fundamental and natural methods of acquiring new skills and knowledge, especially in the early stages of development in any craft or discipline. This method has been employed for centuries across cultures and fields, from artisans and apprentices in traditional crafts to modern-day learners in fields such as music, sports, and science. Imitation involves closely observing the actions, techniques, and behaviors of someone who has already achieved a high level of skill, typically a mentor, teacher, or expert, and then attempting to replicate those actions as closely as possible. This form of learning is powerful because it allows the learner to bypass much of the trial and error process that comes with unguided learning, offering a direct pathway to understanding how something is done correctly. The idea behind learning through imitation is that by copying the actions of someone more skilled, the learner can internalize the principles and methods that lead to success. This is particularly important in the early stages of skill development, when the learner may not yet have the experience or context needed to fully understand why certain techniques work or how to adapt them to different situations. By observing and mimicking an expert, the learner begins to build muscle memory, intuition, and a foundational understanding of the craft. The process is not about blind copying, but rather about absorbing the patterns of excellence that the mentor demonstrates, which in turn helps the learner grasp the underlying mechanics of the skill. In many fields, imitation is often the first step in the process of skill acquisition. For example, in traditional arts and crafts, apprentices would spend years working under a master, watching closely as the master performed their work, and then replicating it with increasing accuracy. Whether in pottery, woodworking, or painting, this method allowed apprentices to learn the most effective techniques without needing to reinvent the wheel. Similarly, in martial arts, beginners often start by mimicking the movements and stances of their instructors, repeating these motions over and over until they become second nature. The same principle applies to music, where students often begin by learning to play existing pieces exactly as they are written, replicating the style and interpretation of their teachers or renowned musicians before eventually developing their own voice. The benefits of learning through imitation go beyond just the acquisition of technical skills. Imitation also allows learners to absorb the nuances and subtleties that are often difficult to explain through verbal instruction alone. In many cases, the true mastery of a skill lies in details that may not be immediately obvious to an outsider. For instance, a professional chef's ability to prepare a dish might come down to a specific way of holding a knife, a precise timing in the cooking process, or a subtle adjustment in seasoning that would be difficult to teach through words alone. By watching and imitating the chef, a learner can pick up on these small but significant details that are often key to excellence. In this way, imitation becomes a method not just for learning what to do, but for understanding how to do it well. In addition to the direct benefits of skill acquisition, imitation also serves a psychological purpose in the learning process. By copying a master, learners gain confidence in their ability to eventually achieve a similar level of proficiency. The process of imitation offers a clear and structured path to success, reducing the uncertainty and frustration that often accompany early learning. This is especially important for beginners who may feel overwhelmed by the complexity of their chosen discipline. Knowing that they can follow in the footsteps of someone who has already achieved mastery provides a sense of direction and reassurance that their efforts will eventually lead to competence. Additionally, not all aspects of a skill can be effectively learned through imitation alone. While imitation is excellent for mastering basic techniques and principles, it may not fully prepare learners for the more complex and unpredictable challenges they will face as they progress. At some point, learners must begin to think critically and adapt what they have learned to new situations. This requires moving beyond simple imitation and engaging in deeper problem solving and independent thought. For example, a musician who has learned to play a piece exactly as it was written will eventually need to interpret the music in their own way, adding their own emotional expression and creativity. Similarly, a software developer who has learned by copying code examples will need to start writing their own original code to solve unique problems. To address these limitations, effective learning through imitation involves a balance between replication and adaptation. The learner begins by closely mimicking their mentor or the models they admire, but over time they start to modify and personalize the techniques they've acquired. This process often occurs gradually as the learner gains more confidence in their abilities and a deeper understanding of the craft. Eventually, the learner reaches a point where they are no longer simply imitating, but are instead building on the foundation of what they've learned, creating something new and unique in the process. The transition from imitation to independent work is often a sign that the learner is moving from the early stages of skill acquisition toward more advanced levels of proficiency. At this point, the learner is no longer just following the example of others, but is beginning to make their own mark on the field. This is where true mastery begins to take shape, as the individual combines the knowledge and skills they have gained through imitation with their own creativity, insight, and personal expression. Ultimately, learning through imitation is an essential step in the journey toward mastery. It provides a solid foundation for beginners, allowing them to acquire essential skills and understand the key principles of their craft. By observing and mimicking the actions of more experienced individuals, learners can bypass many of the common pitfalls of early learning and gain a clearer sense of how to achieve success. However, imitation alone is not enough to achieve mastery. To reach the highest levels of proficiency, learners must eventually move beyond imitation, using what they have learned as a launching point for their own independent growth, innovation, and creativity. In this way, imitation serves as both a starting point and a bridge to the deeper, more personal process of mastering a craft. Application and adaptation represent a pivotal stage in the mastery of any skill or craft. While imitation provides the foundation by helping learners internalize basic techniques and principles, it is through the application and adaptation of those skills that true proficiency begins to take shape. This stage requires the learner to go beyond merely replicating what they have observed and to start applying their knowledge in real-world contexts, where challenges are more nuanced and often unpredictable. The process of applying what has been learned in various settings and then adapting it to suit different situations fosters a deeper understanding of the craft and begins to transform the learner into an independent practitioner capable of handling complex problems. At this stage, the individual takes the skills they have acquired through imitation and starts to apply them in practical situations. In doing so, they encounter challenges that require them to think critically and make decisions independently. These situations often deviate from the controlled environment of practice, introducing variables and constraints that the learner must navigate. Whether it's a musician interpreting a piece for a live audience, a software developer writing original code for a specific project, or an athlete adapting to the strategy of an opponent, the ability to apply skills in dynamic, real-world conditions is crucial for growth. This is where the learner moves from theoretical knowledge to practical expertise. One of the key elements of this stage is problem solving. In practice, real-world applications rarely unfold exactly as they do in training or imitation exercises. Variables such as time constraints, resource limitations, or unexpected challenges force the individual to adapt their approach to fit the situation. For example, a carpenter who has learned traditional woodworking techniques through imitation might face a project where the materials available are different from those they trained with, or the design specifications are more complex than anything they've encountered before. In such cases, the carpenter must adapt their techniques, potentially modifying tools or methods to achieve the desired result. This problem-solving process is essential for deepening the learner's understanding of the craft because it requires them to think flexibly and creatively within the constraints of their field. The process of adaptation is not simply about making minor adjustments, but involves a deeper, more analytical approach to understanding the nuances of a situation. It requires the learner to assess what is working and what needs to be changed, and then apply modifications that maintain the integrity of the skill while adjusting to the new context. Adaptation is an active, reflective process where the individual must draw on their foundational knowledge, experiment with different approaches, and refine their techniques based on feedback from the environment or results. This process often involves trial and error, with the learner making mistakes and learning from them, which in turn helps them develop a more nuanced understanding of their craft. In many fields, adaptation also involves customizing skills to meet the specific needs of a client, audience, or problem. This requires a level of mastery beyond simply knowing how to execute techniques. For instance, a graphic designer might have mastered the tools of their trade through imitation, but applying those skills to design a brand identity for a client involves adapting their knowledge to align with the client's vision, industry trends, and target audience. This kind of adaptation requires not just technical expertise, but also a deep understanding of the context in which their work will be used, as well as the ability to communicate and collaborate with others to achieve the desired outcome. It is this blending of technical skill with contextual understanding that marks the transition from competent practitioner to expert. Adaptation is also crucial in fields that require creativity or innovation. For instance, a jazz musician who has learned the basics of improvisation through imitation must apply those skills in a live performance, where they are expected to respond to the music in real time, adapt to the contributions of other musicians, and create something unique on the spot. This requires not only technical skill, but also the ability to think creatively, making spontaneous decisions that enhance the overall musical experience. In this way, adaptation becomes a pathway to originality as the individual takes what they have learned and uses it as a springboard for creating something new and personal. Another important aspect of adaptation is the ability to transfer skills across different domains or contexts. This process, often referred to as skill transfer, involves applying principles or techniques learned in one area to another, sometimes entirely different area. For example, a skilled public speaker who has mastered the art of engaging an audience might apply those communication skills to a leadership role, using their ability to connect with people to inspire and motivate a team. Similarly, a chess player who has developed strong strategic thinking might adapt those problem-solving skills to business or finance, where long-term planning and tactical decisions are crucial for success. Adaptation through skill transfer allows individuals to leverage their expertise in one field to excel in others, further expanding their mastery. Furthermore, application and adaptation are closely linked to the concept of deliberate practice. While basic practice focuses on repeating tasks to build competence, deliberate practice involves focusing on specific areas that need improvement and adapting techniques to overcome challenges. At this stage, the learner is no longer practicing passively, but is actively seeking out ways to refine their skills and address weaknesses. This type of practice requires constant feedback, whether from mentors, peers, or self-assessment, and it often involves pushing beyond comfort zones to achieve greater levels of proficiency. The process of deliberate practice reinforces the idea that mastery is not achieved simply by repeating what works, but by continually adapting and refining one's approach based on new challenges and insights. In professional settings, adaptation also plays a significant role in leadership and decision-making. Leaders often find themselves in situations where they must apply their skills in unfamiliar or rapidly changing environments. Effective leaders are those who can quickly adapt to new information, changing circumstances, and diverse team dynamics, all while staying focused on achieving their goals. This ability to apply knowledge flexibly and adaptively is what allows leaders to navigate uncertainty and guide their teams to success. For example, a business executive who has learned to manage a stable organization may need to adapt their strategies when facing a disruptive market shift, requiring them to apply their leadership skills in new and innovative ways. In addition to enhancing individual performance, application and adaptation often lead to a greater sense of ownership over the craft. As learners apply their skills in varied and unpredictable settings, they begin to take responsibility for their own development and growth. They are no longer relying on external guidance or simply following the models they have imitated. Instead, they are making decisions based on their own judgment and experience. This sense of ownership is empowering, as it marks the transition from being a learner to being a practitioner with autonomy and expertise. Ultimately, application and adaptation are crucial steps in the journey toward mastery because they allow individuals to move beyond the foundational stage of imitation and start making the craft their own. These processes encourage deeper engagement with the material, requiring learners to think critically, solve problems, and create something that is both technically sound and uniquely personal. By applying and adapting their skills in real-world context, individuals not only deepen their understanding, but also develop the flexibility and creativity necessary to excel at the highest levels of their field. This stage marks the shift from simply knowing how to do something to understanding when and why to apply certain techniques, which is a hallmark of true mastery. Creative innovation is the pinnacle of mastery, where individuals transcend the foundational skills they have learned through imitation and adaptation to contribute something entirely new and unique to their field. It is the process by which experts, having internalized the core principles and techniques of their craft, push the boundaries of what is possible, experimenting with new ideas, methods, and approaches that often redefine the norms of their discipline. At this stage, the learner transforms into a creator, someone who not only excels within the established framework, but also actively reshapes it, driving progress and evolution. Creative innovation is essential for the advancement of any field as it introduces fresh perspectives, solves existing problems in novel ways, and often leads to breakthroughs that change the way people think or work. Innovation does not happen in isolation. It is the result of a deep engagement with both the technical and conceptual elements of a craft, along with an openness to experimentation and risk-taking. At the heart of creative innovation is the ability to see beyond the limitations of current practices and to imagine new possibilities. This often involves questioning assumptions, challenging traditional methods, and exploring unconventional ideas that others might overlook. For example, in science, innovation might involve developing a new theory or model that better explains observed phenomena, while in the arts, it could mean creating a completely new style or form that defies conventional expectations. In business, innovation might manifest as a revolutionary product or service that changes the way people interact with a market or technology. Regardless of the field, innovation requires a willingness to move beyond the familiar and embrace the unknown. One of the key drivers of creative innovation is a deep understanding of the craft. Mastery of the fundamentals allows innovators to build on existing knowledge, while their experience enables them to recognize gaps, inefficiencies, or opportunities for improvement. This often involves synthesizing different ideas, techniques, or technologies in ways that have not been done before. For instance, an architect might combine traditional building methods with cutting-edge materials to design structures that are both aesthetically unique and more sustainable. Similarly, a musician might draw on influences from various genres to create a new sound that is fresh and original, yet still rooted in a deep knowledge of musical theory and technique. In both cases, the foundation of mastery enables the individual to innovate without losing sight of the core principles that ensure quality and effectiveness. Creative innovation often requires breaking the rules or at least bending them. Many of the most significant innovations in history have come from individuals who were willing to challenge established norms and practices. This doesn't mean disregarding the value of tradition or expertise, but rather recognizing when the current methods are limiting progress and exploring alternatives. For example, in the world of art, the introduction of abstract painting in the early 20th century challenged centuries of figurative representation, leading to new forms of expression that redefined the boundaries of visual art. Similarly, in technology, companies like Apple and Tesla have disrupted industries by challenging conventional product designs and business models, creating entirely new categories of consumer goods. In each case, the innovators did not reject the core principles of their disciplines. Instead, they expanded them, allowing for new forms of creativity and functionality. The process of innovation is often iterative, involving cycles of experimentation, failure, and refinement. Rarely does a groundbreaking idea emerge fully formed on the first attempt. Instead, innovators typically engage in a process of trial and error, testing new ideas, learning from mistakes, and making adjustments until they arrive at a solution that works. This willingness to experiment and fail is crucial for innovation, as it allows for the exploration of possibilities that may initially seem impractical or impossible. In many cases, what might seem like a failure can provide valuable insights that lead to a more successful outcome. For example, Thomas Edison's development of the incandescent light bulb involved thousands of failed attempts before he finally arrived at a design that worked. Similarly, in the field of medicine, many of the most important breakthroughs have come after years of experimentation and failed trials. Innovators understand that failure is not the end, but a necessary part of the creative process. Collaboration also plays a vital role in creative innovation. While innovation often begins with an individual's vision or idea, it is frequently enhanced through collaboration with others who bring different perspectives, expertise, and experiences. In many fields, innovation is the result of interdisciplinary collaboration, where experts from different areas come together to solve complex problems or create something new. For instance, in the field of technology, breakthroughs in artificial intelligence often come from teams that include computer scientists, mathematicians, neuroscientists, and ethicists, each contributing their unique knowledge to the project. This blending of different ideas and approaches often leads to more innovative outcomes than any single person could achieve alone. The ability to collaborate effectively, listen to diverse viewpoints, and integrate feedback is crucial for fostering creative innovation in a field. In addition to technical expertise, creative innovation often involves a deep emotional or philosophical engagement with the craft. Many of the most groundbreaking innovations are driven by a desire to address larger societal, environmental, or humanistic issues. Innovators frequently seek to solve problems not just for the sake of technical achievement, but because they believe their work can make a meaningful difference in the world. For example, in the realm of social entrepreneurship, many innovators develop new business models that are designed to address issues like poverty, inequality, or climate change. Their innovations are not just about profit, but about creating sustainable solutions that improve the quality of life for others. This sense of purpose often fuels creativity and motivates innovators to push beyond conventional boundaries, leading to transformative ideas that have a lasting impact. Innovation also requires a mindset of curiosity and lifelong learning. Innovators are rarely satisfied with the status quo. They are constantly seeking new knowledge, exploring emerging trends, and staying open to new ideas. This curiosity drives them to look beyond their immediate field and explore related or even unrelated disciplines for inspiration. For example, an engineer might find inspiration for a new product design by studying biology and observing how natural systems solve problems. A writer might draw on their knowledge of psychology or sociology to create more complex and believable characters. This interdisciplinary approach often leads to more creative solutions, as it allows innovators to see connections and possibilities that others might miss. Moreover, creative innovation is not just about creating something entirely new. It can also involve rethinking or repurposing existing ideas or technologies in innovative ways. Many successful innovations involve taking a concept that already exists and applying it in a novel context or combining it with other ideas to create something new. For instance, the smartphone revolution was not just the result of new technology, but the integration of existing technologies such as the telephone, camera, internet, and GPS into a single portable device. This kind of innovation requires the ability to see potential in existing ideas and to think creatively about how they can be adapted or expanded to meet new needs or solve new problems. The role of technology in creative innovation is increasingly significant in the modern world. Advances in digital tools, artificial intelligence, and other technologies have opened up new possibilities for innovation in nearly every field. For example, in the world of design, 3D printing has revolutionized the way products are prototyped and manufactured, allowing for rapid iteration and customization that was previously impossible. In the arts, digital tools have enabled entirely new forms of expression, from virtual reality experiences to digital art that exists entirely in the digital realm. Technology has also transformed industries such as healthcare, where innovations in medical devices, robotics, and data analysis have led to new treatments and improved patient outcomes. However, while technology can enable innovation, it is ultimately the creativity and vision of the individual or team that drives the process. Finally, the impact of creative innovation extends beyond the immediate field in which it occurs. True innovation often has ripple effects, influencing other disciplines and sparking further innovations. For example, the development of the internet not only revolutionized communication and information sharing, but also led to innovations in countless other fields, from commerce and entertainment to education and healthcare. Similarly, innovations in renewable energy technologies are not only transforming the energy industry, but are also influencing architecture, transportation, and urban planning. This interconnectedness highlights the importance of creative innovation in driving progress and shaping the future. In conclusion, creative innovation is a critical stage in the journey toward mastery, where individuals move beyond simply applying what they have learned to actively creating something new. It requires deep knowledge of the craft, a willingness to experiment and take risks, and an openness to collaboration and interdisciplinary thinking. Innovators are not satisfied with maintaining the status quo. They seek to push the boundaries of their field, often challenging conventional practices and rethinking how problems are approached. Through creative innovation, individuals and teams can make significant contributions that have a lasting impact on their discipline and, in many cases, on society as a whole. Discipline and patience are the bedrock upon which the journey to mastery is built. They are the qualities that sustain individuals through the long, often arduous process of skill development, allowing them to persevere in the face of challenges, setbacks, and the inevitable frustrations that come with learning and improvement. Without discipline and patience, Even the most talented and capable individuals may falter, losing motivation or abandoning their efforts before they can reach their full potential. These qualities are not simply byproducts of the learning process, they are active, cultivated traits that must be nurtured over time to ensure consistent progress. Discipline is the practice of maintaining focus and effort, even when enthusiasm wanes or distractions arise. It is the inner strength that drives individuals to continue practicing, studying, and refining their skills day after day, regardless of external circumstances. In the early stages of learning, when the excitement of novelty still fuels motivation, discipline may seem less critical. However, as the learning curve flattens and progress becomes slower or more incremental, it is discipline that keeps individuals on course. For instance, a musician learning a new instrument may initially be excited by the rapid improvement in the first few weeks, but as they encounter more complex techniques that require hours of repetitive practice, it is discipline that pushes them to continue honing their craft. The role of discipline becomes even more crucial as individuals move from the beginner stage to more advanced levels of practice. Mastery, by its very nature, requires sustained effort over long periods, often years or even decades. The idea of 10,000 hours of practice, popularized by Malcolm Gladwell's interpretation of Anders Ericsson's research on expertise, highlights just how much time and effort is required to become a true master in any field. Achieving mastery is not about quick wins or short-term gains, it's about the accumulation of small, consistent improvements over time. Each hour of focused practice, each lesson learned from failure, and each challenge overcome contributes to the gradual development of expertise. Discipline is what allows individuals to keep putting in the necessary hours even when progress seems slow or invisible. An essential aspect of discipline is the ability to set clear goals and follow through with them. This requires self-regulation, controlling impulses, managing time effectively, and resisting the temptation to deviate from the path of progress. For example, an aspiring athlete might set a goal of improving their endurance, knowing that it will take months of consistent training to see significant results. Along the way, they will likely face moments of fatigue, soreness, or the allure of easier, more immediate rewards, such as skipping a workout or indulging in unhealthy habits. Discipline is what helps them stay focused on their long-term goals, pushing through short-term discomfort to achieve lasting improvement. Moreover, discipline involves making deliberate choices about how to spend one's time and energy. In the pursuit of mastery, distractions are abundant, whether it's the pull of social media, entertainment, or even other areas of life that may compete for attention. Those who develop mastery learn to prioritize their practice and study over less important or less beneficial activities. This does not mean ignoring other aspects of life, but rather finding a balance that allows for sustained effort in the chosen field. For example, a writer working on a novel may need to carve out time every day for writing, even when work, family, or social obligations seem to demand immediate attention. It is through disciplined time management and prioritization that they can ensure steady progress toward their creative goals. Discipline is also closely tied to the concept of deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is a focused and structured approach to improving specific aspects of one's performance, rather than simply repeating tasks mindlessly. It requires setting clear objectives, seeking feedback, and pushing oneself beyond current abilities in a systematic way. This type of practice is often mentally and physically demanding, as it forces individuals to confront their weaknesses and work on areas that are challenging or uncomfortable. Without discipline, it is easy to fall into the trap of practicing only what is already familiar or enjoyable, rather than addressing the areas that truly need improvement. For example, a tennis player might be tempted to focus on their strong forehand rather than work on their weaker backhand, but disciplined practice involves deliberately targeting those weaknesses, even when it's frustrating or discouraging. While discipline is essential for maintaining consistent effort, patience is equally important for managing the emotional and psychological aspects of the mastery process. Patience is the ability to accept that progress will not always be immediate or linear, and to trust that improvement will come with time and sustained effort. It is the quality that allows individuals to persist through setbacks, failures, and periods of stagnation without becoming discouraged or giving up. In many cases, the journey to mastery is marked by plateaus, times when it feels as though no progress is being made, despite continued effort. These periods can be deeply frustrating, as individuals may feel stuck or question whether they are truly capable of achieving their goals. Patience is what allows them to endure these moments, maintaining faith in the process and continuing to put in the work, even when the results are not immediately visible. Patience also helps individuals manage their expectations. In a world that often emphasizes quick results and instant gratification, the slow, steady nature of mastery can feel out of sync with modern values. Many people expect rapid progress or significant achievements in a short amount of time, and when those expectations aren't met, they may become disillusioned or give up altogether. Patience is the antidote to this mindset, reminding individuals that real meaningful progress takes time and that the process itself is as important as the outcome. For example, a visual artist learning to paint in oils may take years to develop a refined technique, mastering the subtleties of color blending, brush strokes, and composition. Patience allows the artist to focus on incremental improvements and appreciate the learning process rather than becoming frustrated by the time it takes to reach a high level of skill. In addition to helping individuals endure slow progress, patience also fosters a sense of resilience in the face of failure. Failure is an inevitable part of any learning process, and those who lack patience may see failure as a reason to give up. However, those who approach failure with patience understand that it is a necessary part of growth. Each failure provides valuable feedback and insights that can inform future efforts. Rather than being discouraged by setbacks, patient individuals are more likely to view them as opportunities for learning and improvement. For instance, a scientist conducting research may encounter numerous failed experiments before discovering a breakthrough. Without patience, they might abandon their efforts early on, but with patience, they persist, using each failure as a stepping stone toward eventual success. Patience also plays a key role in managing the complexity of skill development. Many crafts and disciplines require mastering multiple interconnected skills, each of which takes time to develop. For example, a chef mastering the art of French cuisine may need to learn a wide range of techniques, from knife skills to sauce making, each requiring focused effort and practice. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the scope of what needs to be learned, but patience allows individuals to break the process down into manageable steps, focusing on one skill at a time and trusting that with time, each piece will come together. Patience enables learners to take a long-term perspective, understanding that mastery is a gradual process of building layer upon layer of expertise. In many ways, patience and discipline reinforce each other. Discipline provides the structure and consistency needed to keep moving forward, while patience provides the emotional resilience to endure the ups and downs of the journey. Together, they form a powerful combination that allows individuals to stay committed to their goals over the long term. A disciplined individual without patience may burn out, becoming frustrated by slow progress and abandoning their efforts. Conversely, a patient individual without discipline may lack the consistency needed to make meaningful progress. When both qualities are present, individuals are better equipped to navigate the challenges and complexities of their chosen field, steadily moving toward mastery. It's also important to recognize that discipline and patience are not static traits that can be developed and strengthened over time. Many individuals are not naturally disciplined or patient, but through practice and self-awareness, they can cultivate these qualities. One way to develop discipline is to create routines and habits that make consistent practice easier. For example, setting aside a specific time each day for practice or study can help build momentum and reduce the need for constant willpower. Similarly, patience can be developed by consciously shifting one's mindset to focus on long-term goals rather than short-term results. This might involve reframing setbacks as part of the learning process or reminding oneself that mastery is a marathon, not a sprint. In the end, discipline and patience are essential because they allow individuals to stay committed to their craft in the face of inevitable challenges and setbacks. Mastery is not a quick or easy process, and without these qualities, it is easy to become discouraged or distracted along the way. Discipline ensures that individuals continue to put in the effort day after day, while patience allows them to maintain a positive and resilient mindset, even when progress is slow or difficult. Together, these qualities form the foundation upon which true mastery is built, enabling individuals to reach the highest levels of skill and achievement in their chosen field. Deliberate practice is the intentional, focused, and structured approach to skill development that differentiates ordinary practice from the type of practice that leads to mastery. It involves a purposeful effort to improve specific aspects of performance, often by working at the edge of one's abilities and continually pushing beyond comfort zones. Unlike casual or repetitive practice, where individuals may simply go through the motions without significant improvement, deliberate practice is designed to target weaknesses, refine techniques, and deepen understanding, all with the aim of achieving long-term growth. One of the key elements of deliberate practice is its goal-oriented nature. Individuals engaging in deliberate practice do not merely repeat tasks they are already comfortable with. Instead, they set clear, measurable goals for improvement. These goals are often broken down into smaller, achievable steps that focus on specific skills or areas that need work. For example, a chess player aiming to improve their endgame strategies would focus not just on playing more games, but on studying endgame theory, analyzing positions, and practicing specific scenarios repeatedly until they can consistently execute the right moves. This targeted approach ensures that each practice session has a clear objective, which makes the time spent more effective and meaningful. Deliberate practice also involves working at the limits of one's abilities. This means deliberately confronting areas of difficulty or weakness, which can often be uncomfortable or frustrating. For instance, a violinist might struggle with a particular passage of a piece that requires intricate fingerwork. Instead of avoiding that passage or glossing over mistakes, deliberate practice would require them to slow down, break the passage into smaller sections, and work on each part methodically until they can perform it correctly. This process of breaking down challenging tasks into manageable components is a hallmark of deliberate practice. By continually operating at the edge of one's current skill level, individuals gradually expand their capabilities and push the boundaries of what they can do. Another crucial aspect of deliberate practice is the role of feedback. Effective practice is not just about repetition, it's about receiving and responding to feedback that highlights areas for improvement. This feedback can come from external sources such as coaches, teachers, or mentors who provide expert guidance and critique, or from self-assessment where individuals reflect on their own performance and identify areas where they fell short. For example, an athlete working with a coach might receive real-time feedback on their form, posture, or technique during training, allowing them to make immediate adjustments and avoid ingraining bad habits. In fields where external feedback is less readily available, such as creative writing or art, individuals may rely on self-critique or peer reviews to gain insight into their work. The key is that feedback must be timely, specific, and actionable so that the individual can make targeted improvements. Deliberate practice is mentally demanding and requires deep concentration. Unlike casual practice, where one might go through the motions without full engagement, deliberate practice demands complete focus on the task at hand. This level of concentration allows individuals to notice subtle details and nuances in their performance, which they can then work on refining. For instance, a dancer practicing a complex routine might focus on the precision of each movement, the timing of each step, and the expression of emotion through their body language. This attention to detail is what sets deliberate practice apart from mindless repetition. It is through this kind of focused effort that individuals can make meaningful improvements in their skills. One of the challenges of deliberate practice is its inherent difficulty. Because it involves consistently pushing oneself to the edge of one's abilities, it can be physically and mentally exhausting. It requires a high degree of motivation, discipline, and resilience to maintain this level of effort over time. Many individuals find it difficult to sustain deliberate practice without a clear sense of purpose or a strong desire to improve. This is why deliberate practice is often most effective when individuals are driven by intrinsic motivation, the inner desire to master their craft or achieve a specific goal. For example, a pianist aiming to perfect a complex concerto may be motivated not only by external rewards such as accolades or recognition, but by a deep personal commitment to achieving excellence in their performance. Another important element of deliberate practice is repetition, but repetition with a purpose. Repeating a task mindlessly will not lead to significant improvement, but deliberate repetition, where each iteration is done with the intention of refining a specific aspect of performance, can lead to breakthroughs. For example, a basketball player working on their free throws might take hundreds of shots each day, but if they focus on their stance, follow through, and hand placement with each shot, they will eventually improve their shooting percentage. This kind of focused repetition allows individuals to internalize correct techniques and gradually develop muscle memory, which makes performing a skill feel more natural and automatic over time. Deliberate practice also requires individuals to embrace discomfort and failure as part of the learning process. Because it involves working on weaknesses and areas of difficulty, individuals will inevitably encounter failure and frustration. However, those who engage in deliberate practice understand that failure is not a sign of inadequacy, but a valuable opportunity for growth. For example, a scientist conducting experiments might experience multiple failed attempts before arriving at a successful result. Each failure provides critical information that can be used to refine the hypothesis, improve the methodology, or adjust the approach. In this way, failure becomes an essential part of the process of deliberate practice, teaching individuals how to persevere, adapt, and refine their skills. One of the reasons deliberate practice is so effective is that it fosters continuous improvement. Unlike casual practice, which may result in stagnation after a certain point, deliberate practice creates a framework for ongoing progress. By setting progressively more challenging goals, seeking regular feedback, and refining techniques, individuals can avoid plateaus and continue advancing their skills. For instance, a writer aiming to improve their storytelling might begin by focusing on writing compelling characters, then move on to crafting intricate plot structures, and eventually experiment with more advanced narrative techniques, such as nonlinear storytelling or unreliable narrators. Each step in this progression builds on the previous one, creating a trajectory of growth that can lead to mastery over time. A common misconception about deliberate practice is that it requires extraordinary talent or innate ability to succeed. However, research has shown that deliberate practice can lead to significant improvements in performance, even for those who may not initially appear to be naturally gifted. In fact, many experts argue that deliberate practice is the most important factor in achieving high levels of performance, regardless of an individual's starting point. For example, renowned violinist Itzhak Perlman has spoken about the importance of disciplined, focused practice in his own development as a musician, emphasizing that his success was not simply the result of talent, but of years of deliberate effort. Similarly, athletes, artists, and professionals in various fields often credit deliberate practice as the key to their success. In addition to its impact on skill development, deliberate practice also shapes the mindset of individuals. Those who engage in deliberate practice tend to develop a growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. This mindset is crucial for long-term success, as it encourages individuals to embrace challenges, persist through difficulties, and view effort as a path to mastery. For example, a software developer learning a new programming language may struggle initially with syntax and logic, but with a growth mindset and deliberate practice, they can gradually become proficient and even innovate in the field. This attitude of continuous learning and improvement is what separates those who achieve mastery from those who remain on a plateau. Another key benefit of deliberate practice is that it promotes a deeper understanding of the craft. By continually working on weaknesses and seeking to refine performance, individuals gain insights into the underlying principles and concepts that govern their field. For example, a mathematician working on complex proofs may begin to notice patterns or connections that were previously hidden, leading to a more profound understanding of mathematical theory. This depth of understanding allows individuals to apply their skills more effectively in a variety of contexts and to approach problems with greater creativity and insight. Finally, deliberate practice fosters resilience and the ability to persevere through challenges. Because it involves working through difficulties and failures, individuals who engage in deliberate practice develop a strong sense of perseverance and mental toughness. They learn to push through frustration, maintain focus in the face of setbacks, and keep striving for improvement even when progress is slow. This resilience is not only valuable in the pursuit of mastery, but also in other areas of life, as it teaches individuals how to handle adversity, overcome obstacles, and stay committed to long-term goals. In conclusion, deliberate practice is a highly structured and focused approach to skill development that emphasizes setting specific goals, receiving feedback, working at the edge of one's abilities, and embracing challenges. It requires discipline, concentration, and a willingness to push through discomfort and failure. While it is mentally and physically demanding, it is also the most effective way to achieve mastery in any field. By engaging in deliberate practice, individuals can continually refine their skills, deepen their understanding, and reach their full potential, regardless of their starting point. Ultimately, deliberate practice is not just about putting in hours of effort, it's about practicing with intention, focus, and a commitment to continuous improvement. Mentorship and leadership are intertwined concepts that play a crucial role in the journey toward mastery and personal development. They encompass not only the guidance and support provided by more experienced individuals, but also the ways in which these relationships foster growth, resilience, and a deeper understanding of one's chosen field. Both mentorship and leadership are essential for navigating the complexities of learning and skill development, as they provide the framework through which individuals can explore their potential, confront challenges, and refine their abilities over time. At its core, mentorship is a relationship in which a more experienced individual, often referred to as a mentor, shares their knowledge, skills, and insights with a less experienced individual, known as a mentee. This relationship can take many forms, ranging from formal programs to informal, organic connections that develop over time. Effective mentorship involves more than just sharing expertise. It requires active engagement, encouragement, and a willingness to invest time and energy in mentees' growth. A mentor not only imparts knowledge, but also helps the mentee navigate the emotional and psychological aspects of their journey, providing support during moments of doubt, frustration, and uncertainty. One of the primary benefits of mentorship is the accelerated learning it enables. When mentees have access to the wisdom and experience of their mentors, they can avoid common pitfalls and mistakes that come with the learning process. Mentors can provide valuable insights into the nuances of a particular discipline, offering guidance on best practices, strategies for overcoming obstacles, and advice on how to approach complex challenges. For instance, an aspiring writer might benefit from a mentor who offers feedback on their work, shares industry insights, provides tips on how to navigate the publishing world. This guidance can significantly shorten the learning curve and help mentees develop their skills more quickly and effectively. Mentorship also fosters a sense of accountability. When individuals have someone invested in their growth, they are often more motivated to pursue their goals and maintain focus on their development. A mentor can help set specific objectives and provide regular check-ins, encouraging mentees to stay committed to their practice and refine their skills. This accountability can be particularly valuable during times of struggle or self-doubt, when individuals might be tempted to give up or lose sight of their goals. The presence of a mentor can remind mentees of their potential, helping them push through challenges and remain committed to their journey. Moreover, mentorship provides a safe space for exploration and experimentation. In many fields, especially creative or performance-based disciplines, the fear of failure can be a significant barrier to growth. Mentors create an environment where mentees feel comfortable taking risks, making mistakes, and learning from those experiences. This psychological safety allows individuals to step outside their comfort zones and explore new ideas, techniques, or approaches without the fear of judgment. For instance, a young entrepreneur may feel more confident launching a new business venture with the support and encouragement of a mentor, knowing that they can rely on their mentor's guidance throughout the process. In addition to providing knowledge and support, mentors also serve as role models, embodying the qualities and characteristics that mentees aspire to develop. This modeling can have a profound impact on mentees, shaping their understanding of professionalism, work ethic, and the values that underpin success in their field. For example, a talented musician may look up to their mentor not just for their technical skills, but also for their dedication, resilience, and approach to collaboration within the music industry. Observing these traits in a mentor can inspire mentees to cultivate similar qualities in themselves, further enhancing their growth and development. Leadership, while related to mentorship, encompasses a broader scope of influence and responsibility. A leader is someone who guides, motivates, and inspires others, often by creating a vision and fostering an environment that encourages collaboration, innovation, and personal growth. Effective leaders possess a unique blend of skills, including the ability to communicate clearly, build relationships, and empower others. They recognize the potential in their team members and actively work to cultivate that potential through support, guidance, and opportunities for development. A key aspect of leadership is the ability to create a shared vision and inspire others to work toward that vision. Leaders articulate a clear direction and help individuals understand how their contributions fit into the larger picture. This sense of purpose fosters motivation and engagement as team members see the value of their efforts and understand how they contribute to collective goals. For example, in a business setting, a leader might communicate a vision for innovation that excites team members, encouraging them to think creatively and take ownership of their projects. Leaders also play a critical role in fostering a culture of learning and development within their teams. They prioritize growth by encouraging continuous education, providing resources for skill development, and promoting an environment where experimentation and learning from failure are valued. This commitment to learning creates a dynamic workplace where individuals feel supported in their pursuit of mastery. For instance, a leader in a tech company might implement regular training sessions, workshops, and mentorship programs to ensure that team members have opportunities to expand their knowledge and skills. Furthermore, effective leaders recognize the importance of emotional intelligence in their relationships with others. They are attuned to the feelings and motivations of their team members, allowing them to respond empathetically and create an inclusive and supportive environment. This emotional awareness fosters trust and connection, enabling leaders to build strong relationships that empower individuals to perform at their best. A leader who understands the unique strengths and challenges of each team member can provide tailored support and encouragement, leading to a more cohesive and productive team. Leadership is also about facilitating collaboration and communication. Great leaders create opportunities for individuals to work together, share ideas, and learn from one another. By fostering collaboration, leaders harness the collective intelligence and creativity of their teams, resulting in innovative solutions and approaches to challenges. This collaborative environment not only enhances productivity but also nurtures the development of interpersonal skills as individuals learn to communicate effectively, resolve conflicts, and support each other's growth. Moreover, mentorship and leadership are reciprocal processes. While mentors guide and support their mentees, they often find their own perspectives and understanding deepen through the act of mentoring. The exchange of knowledge and experiences can lead to mutual growth, as mentors reflect on their practices and gain new insights from their interactions with mentees. Similarly, leaders benefit from fostering the development of their team members as it strengthens their organization and cultivates a culture of learning and innovation. Additionally, mentorship and leadership can extend beyond one-on-one relationships to encompass broader community involvement and service. Leaders and mentors often find fulfillment in giving back to their communities by supporting the next generation of professionals, artists, or entrepreneurs. This commitment to mentorship not only benefits individuals but also contributes to the overall growth and vitality of entire fields and industries. For example, established professionals in any sector may engage in outreach programs, workshops, or mentorship initiatives to inspire and guide young talent, helping to ensure the continued evolution and advancement of their field. The dynamic relationship between mentorship and leadership is vital in various domains, including education, business, sports, and the arts. In educational settings, teachers often take on mentorship roles, guiding students through their academic journeys while also serving as leaders in their classrooms. In the business world, effective managers and executives embody both mentorship and leadership qualities, fostering the growth of their employees while steering the organization toward success. Athletes and coaches exemplify this relationship in sports, where mentorship can enhance performance and cultivate strong team dynamics. Ultimately, mentorship and leadership are indispensable components of personal and professional development. They empower individuals to navigate the challenges of learning and skill development while fostering a sense of community and connection. Through mentorship, individuals receive guidance, support, and encouragement as they pursue their goals, while effective leadership inspires them to strive for excellence and work collaboratively toward shared objectives. Together, mentorship and leadership create a fertile ground for growth, resilience, and mastery, ensuring that individuals are well equipped to reach their full potential and contribute meaningfully to their chosen fields.